everybody, this is a recording of La Petite Danse. This is a NYSSMA Level 1 solo for flute. Let's talk about a couple things before we practice it. Your metronome will be set at a quarter note equals 138 because it says in the beginning your tempo is simply quarter note equals 138. I will be playing this solo at that speed. That is probably too fast for you if this is one of the first times that you're looking at the music. So at the bottom of this window, you can click the gear and you can change the speed of the video. You can make it a little bit slower to practice with. What makes this piece really pretty are all the slurs and all the dynamic changes. So we really want to bring those out in this piece. Especially if you are performing this at NYSSMA, you do not need to count the rests. You don't need to start in the beginning. You can start right at measure 5. That's what I'm going to do. Same thing at measure 31. I'm going to take the 2 measures of rest just so I can catch my breath, but then I'm not going to count the 4 measures of rest. I'm just going to start in the next part. Same thing at 51. You could just take a couple second break. You don't need to count for your 6 measures. If you were playing with a piano accompanist, then yes, you'd have to count the rest because the piano would be playing even though you're not. But if you're playing by yourself, you don't have to count. Practice this without the slurs first. Practice tonguing everything just so you get the right notes and the right rhythms. And then when you're pretty good at that, then you can add it in the slurs. If you're not sure where to tongue during the slurs, you could put a little T for tongue over the first note of every slur. So for example, in measure 5, I would put a T over the first B flat, but not the C and the other B flat because those are underneath the slur. Same thing happens in measure 7. I would put a T over the A, but not the B flat, the C, and I'm definitely not going to tongue that low F. In this piece, there are a few dynamic changes. At measure 5, we start mezzo piano. Mezzo forte, we start in the second line. We get to forte at 13. I'm going to be adding a few more dynamic changes. It's called phrasing. So I'm going to, maybe as the notes get a little bit higher, I'll crescendo a little bit, and as the notes get a little bit lower, I'll decrescendo a little bit. That creates shaping for the music. It creates a little bit more of an interest. That is performer's prerogative. That is up to the performer to do, but because it's not written in ink, you don't have to do it, but it really adds something special to your piece. Find measure 57. And count forwards, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, crush. Your crescendo starts there. So maybe in that measure, you start off mezzo piano like you did in 57. And then at the quarter notes, you're more of a mezzo piano and a half. And then in measure 64 on that C, maybe you're at a mezzo forte to a forte level because at 65, you come in and it's forte. Measure 71, make sure to count these notes. I've heard many kids, because it's the end of the piece, oh phew, thank goodness I'm almost done, and they just rush through it. Count how many beats each B flat is. It is a dotted half note tied to a half note. 3 plus 2 equals 5. Hold each of those. The first B flat is 71 for 5, the next B flat for 5, and then the last one is 6 beats. It's your piece. Really enjoy that last note. As it says on the bottom, I just realized this now. I knew this, but I didn't realize it said it. It says in French, little dance. That's what La Petite Danse means. You have B flat and E flat in your key signature, but at measure 43, you have an A flat. Be mindful of that. Use your A flat key. That's what it's for. I'm just realizing that I'm going to look backwards to you because this is on a selfie setting. So it's going to look like I'm holding my flute backwards. I promise I'm not holding my flute backwards. We'll start the metronome at a quarter note equals 138. Like I said, I'm going to start in measure 5. Here we go. You got the beat in your feet. You need a lot of breath support for this. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, big breath. Part 1, 2, 3, ready. Thank you so much for watching.